everyone, and welcome back to Let's Finally Try to Fly a Crewed Mission. So, Dolphin 1 is rolling out. We did fly our testing. Now, there's been a bunch of changes to rollout costs and stuff. Sorry, launch costs. So, is that right? Yes, it should be rolling out to Able. Good. 2 days until the training is good. Okay. Now, let's check training status. Catherine Hall and Edward Jennings have finished. So Catherine Hall is going to be the first woman in orbit. She's the prime crew. Edward Jennings is the backup crew. So let's do this. Right. So let me quickly just review the contract because it's been... Hey, Lamont. It's been a long, long time. Perigee above 150, which is actually wrong for Mercury, but whatever. I guess we could make it 145. And do slightly over one orbit. We're going to launch Polar because goodness knows we have the Delta V. And we'll get lots of science. And that should be that. Catherine Hall. There we are. And hey, Blowfish, I missed your message. All right, stay as long as you can, and when you have to go, have a good one. See, hopefully everything will go fine because I'm kind of under the weather today, so my reactions will be slower for sure. No experience available, that's expected. So we want to go to, why don't we do, given our launch vehicle's capability, oh, that's actually less Delta V than I thought. Wonder why. I thought we had more than that. We have 9,600. Is that enough for... It's probably fine. And let's go north to 75 degrees, I think. Should be fine. We definitely want a hot stage. That always turns off. We are not going to want to coast. I mean, I guess we could coast, but if we're hot staging, we won't be coasting. Yeah, I feel like this will be a fine orbit because even if we're a little short, we can finish on the service module. And then it's not going to take much to deorbit from 185 by 185. So simple circular 100 nautical mile orbit. We'll do that for maybe 2 orbits or however much we need to get the science, and then we'll come home. So let's go. RCS to on so I don't forget about it. Yeah, oh, Blowfish, I meant to talk with you about the ignition resources. I am unpersuaded that even having an ignition resource system makes a whole lot of sense other than electric charge. Unless you can think of a case where there's an engine where in consuming an ignition resource it meaningfully affects the delta V of the vessel. But otherwise it feels like it's just, we just added a system that no one necessarily sees that doesn't really do anything because we already have limited ignitions. So, not super sure about that. I mean, it becomes relevant again when you can actually replenish the resources somehow with an EVA or something, but like we obviously don't support that, so whatever. Oh, indeed, other engines do have it, and that is definitely a for the sake of realism thing. But I am much less anal about these things than I used to be, basically. "10 seconds to staging." Crew report from the upper atmosphere over water. Okay. Everything's looking pretty good, so let's detach the abort tower. All right. Plenty of spare delta V, even going to 75 degrees. I trust that's sufficiently polar to get polar, but I think it is. Probably. If not, we'll fly another mission and go to like 88 degrees. Vega is such a gloriously capable stage. Especially since the real one would have had the balloon tanks. Whoa! No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. Also, how did the... Oh, that's right, because... Wait. Did I not give this the tag? Oh, no, I only ever gave it to the X1 cockpit. That's right. I didn't actually... Okay, so... That's a new update. You're no longer going to be able to EVA in this thing. Because, like, do you see an airlock? Because I don't see an airlock. Like, what size is that? I guess that hatch might be workable on this. It's certainly not workable on Mercury, which didn't have a hatch like that. Right, yeah, or... Science Alert's EVA thing is bad news. Because, yeah, it skips all the checks. Oh, Robs, that reminds me, while you're going through and dealing with the tags, if you can also apply the module no EVA to the Mark 1 pod, Mercury, Vostok, Voskhod itself, and anything else you can think of that shouldn't have EVAs. Satellite, yeah, that's why I was saying look at the size of this hatch. Like, this has a reasonably sized hatch, so it might be plausible, but Mercury, the traditional exit was through the top tunnel. They had a blowable hatch on the side, but here we are. We've achieved orbit. Not what MechJeb was estimating for how much it would cost, but we have plenty left, so who cares? All right. Okay. And we have decent, yeah, decent solar exposure. It's pretty good. Thank you. Why are we having problems here? All right. Now, let's see what we get. Yeah, I did test module no EVA in all conditions that I could think of, and it seemed to work fine. Tundra. Oh. That means I better get that transferred. Huh? Where's the window? Is this just me being blind, or is the window legitimately not showing up? That's interesting. Yeah, seems to just not be showing up. Unless chat has seen it. Doesn't have anything to transfer science. Oh, we might as well start the scrubber. Also, why is our periapsis down to 127? That's weird. I did not notice that. Can anyone remember if that's what we inserted into? Because I don't think that's what we inserted into. Or what must have happened to do that? Weird, weird, weird. Anyway. We're now in a 187 by 167. It's fine. We'll just clean this up a little bit. All right, that's close enough. And we're getting some decent solar exposure. All right. Oh, we have comms again, so let's transmit what we got. Yeah, that went away. Good. I need to just uninstall this and install XScience and accept the slowdown because I miss XScience too much. Report pages about desert. Also, I want to know from XScience what biomes I've missed. Mountains. We got mountains, that's good. Tropics. Oh, because McMurdo, I assume? I don't know. Yeah, McMurdo. We got ice caps, so I think that means everything. All right, we've now passed our first orbit. Everything's going fine. So now let's start thinking about how we want to do our reentry. So we're going to come down in the Pacific. And we probably want to set up a reentry burn here. That's a bit much. That's probably about right. I think that's going to be, it's going to give us about a 0 perigee. Yeah, I think we want something about like that. So let's warp around a little bit more, see if we pick up any more science, which we are unlikely to do. No more science. If we really wanted to min-max science, we could try to come in over a biome we haven't been over, but I would rather roleplay actually landing in the water. Yeah, I think that's going to be about right. Okay. All right, let's burn the node. All right, which implies it's about 70 here. So we're going to take it down to about minus 75. Okay, close enough. Oh, hey, Des. Hey, everybody. Good to see you all. So let's go ahead and I want to know my orientation at 100 kilometers. This requires maneuver node editor. Setting this to retrograde. That gives us where is 100 kilometers? There. All right. So yeah, we're going to definitely come in the Pacific. That's fine. We're not going to come as close to land as I thought, but because this is a fairly steep re-entry. We'll probably end up splashing down about here, would be my guess. Yeah, it's super dark. We'll have sun very, very soon. We're going to cross the Terminator very soon. So let's get there. There we are. There's some sun. That's pretty brilliant. All right. Now, once we get to about 145 kilometers, we'll ditch the service module. It's going to be a fairly gentle re-entry, I think. All right. So, goodbye, service module. It was nice knowing you. Ooh, I wonder what the decouple force of it is. Probably too high. Yeah, too high, but that's okay. RCS is engaged. SAS is on for all the good it does us. So now we get to ride through our reentry, and there it goes far away into the distance. And it's yet another flying high over water, so we won't get any science from this. As I was saying, if I wanted to min-max, I could have tried to have a reentry that came in over land and get some interesting land biome stuff, but rather roleplay the water landing. And it's been long enough that I no longer have a good instinct for where things will come down. Just to surface mode. Actually, we might as well interesting. RCS is enabled. Oh, there we are. So we do have roll control. We do have proper roll control, but we don't have anything else. So we will have to rely on the air to stabilize us. See you, Blowfish. Always good to see you. Good I didn't spin up. It's our angular velocity. Let's kill that off. That's pretty decent. Alright, so our roll is basically zeroed out, and we'll let the air restabilize our orientation backwards. Alright, so that little baby solid will jettison this whole shebang away once it's time to deploy the chutes, which hopefully are correct now. Gradually coming around to retrograde. So we could try lifting reentry, but I don't think I want to. Don't really think I want to. That's ever so slightly angled differently than that, and it's going to annoy me for the rest of my life. My patience has run out. We're going to fizz warp. Passing the Kármán line. Descent rate not that high. Our entry angle is not extreme. It's really only about minus 1.3 degrees entry angle. So the G loading will not be all that high. Oh no, it's higher than that. Yeah, no, it is about 1.3 degrees, I think. Oh, I should use, oh no, that's a proc tank texture. We need a black fairing texture so it'll match the pod. There goes the service module. Kablooey. We're just sitting pretty here. So we're going to go ahead and zero out our roll, because we can. There's nothing else to use our peroxide on. Turn the lights on, because why not? We have 2 CO2 scribbers? Oh no, it's just start and stop is not a toggle. Okay. Getting a little bit hot. Now our pitch is at 2 degrees. Here we come. I would love it so much if somebody made a mod that actually had a detached shockwave. Like that. That would be so amazing. See if my estimate held on where we're going to splash down. Yeah, I was about right, actually. Cool. My mod list is RP-1 and what it requires and some of the other stuff. I don't. It's a fairly customized setup. It's basically RP-1's requireds and recommendeds pretty much entirely, plus some bits of FASA and BDB and real engines and some other part mods. Proc fairings for everything. SSTU, although I don't use a ton of it. That's about it. And we are well and truly subsonic. So let's go ahead and ditch the top cone and arm the chutes. That worked appropriately for once. Clearly we've run out of RCS. Oh no, we haven't run out of RCS Pro, just can't do so much good. Going through the cloud bank. Drogue out. Drogue unreefed. Main out. Main unreefed. Drogue cut. And down we come for the last 2 kilometers. Slowing down nicely. Meters. under 6 meters per second. Here we come. About 100 feet. No, less than 100 feet. And there we go. Congratulations to Catherine Hall, the first woman to orbit the Earth. I mean, not just orbit the Earth, but like, you know, come back and stuff, because that's pretty important too. We got a tiny bit of science. We got some money back from the capsule. That's always nice. Catherine Hall gains an XP, advances to level 1. Excellent. She's on leave, and her retirement got extended back 2 years. That's super nice. Because she actually did a cool thing. So now she's like, yeah, I want to stay in the program. Got to keep your astronauts happy. And boy, we got a nice chunk of change. All right, so let's do one of these. Wow, it doesn't pay very much. I forgot how little it paid. Let's look. Six orbits. Mm-hmm. 2 years to do this. I don't think we'll be there in 2 years. I mean, we might, but that seems ambitious, so I'm not going to pick it, even though the advance would be awesome. So we'll just do another one of these. Six months to do it? We should be able to do it in 6 months. So Dolphin 2 is getting ready. Let's duplicate it just in case we have a problem. Come on. Oh, somebody was telling me that there was an issue with that. But we can requeue it from here, and it will be fine. The one change I want to make is these stages get to be combined. The rest of it's fine. All right. Rollout cost is expensive because of the service module, which is untooled. Yeah, this is an expensive craft. So basically we have, our expenses are about half of the total for this contract. So we need to like not fail. Failing would be bad. Failing would be very bad. We could do orbit on the cheap, but we'll keep having these capable things. All right. So in 16 days, we'll fly the backup crew. and then Bobby Carter and Ernest Banks. Uh, 22nd and 13th. Could also fly. We could pick one of them, but don't really see a point. We'll go for the earliest retiring one. Edward Jennings. We need to upgrade this so that I can afford, so that we can do EVAs. How long is that going to take? 75 days. Not bad. All right, so we'll actually queue up one more of these things. And it'll be the last time that somebody will be allowed to EVA from one of those things. Sure ups. Let me take everybody on a tour of this craft. And I'm going to queue up one more because we know we're going to do an EVA at some point. I can always cancel it later, and it's okay to have a loan. All right. And we will overwrite what we got because I fixed the staging. So this has a pair of LR-79s down here, burning for the full rated burn time. Oh, and they're dash 9s. They're not even dash 11s. So save a little money. Then it's got an X405H up here, burning for 3 minutes and 17.7 seconds because this is slightly over provisioned with locks. And as you can see behind the curtain, there it is sitting on the tank. And that's my traditional Cheshire stage. And then this service module has, let me take these out. Homebrew RCS, quads, 2 1 kilonewton thrusters, everything using hydrazine on an SM2. Okay. All right. Whew, that scared me because I click expiation instead. All right, so that's done in 22 days. Then we'll get better rocket engines. Then we'll get better solids. Then we'll finally get some decent solar panels. We're actually going to move those up because I would much rather have good folding solar panels than better rocket engines. We already have pretty good rocket engines. We did not get a large Hall of Science. I don't think there's anything we can afford to buy. Oh, we could get first stage combustion engines, I guess, but that would be uncharacteristic of us. Oh, we could afford that. That's really only 31? Everything else costs 80. I don't know why. Oh, that's right, because it costs 1 node less, or 2 nodes less or something. All right, well, we'll get the upgrade point because we'll want to research it at some point to get, like, Jupiter class stuff. All right. You're welcome. As with most of my campaigns, this is use all the LR-79s ever, the campaign. Not going to spend more cash than that because we're probably going to need cash. That's upgraded, and the next upgrade is stupidly expensive. That's also stupidly expensive. That's kind of expensive. And I already bought that upgrade. Right, let's fly Dolphin 2. That's a nice cheaper rollout. No, I didn't match up to what was in the VAB. I thought that bug was fixed. Oh, because that's the old, maybe that's the old build points of it or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens for the next one. How are we doing on that? 57 days. Yeah, then we'll have a lunar lander to fly. Let's roll that out. What do I want to do here? Do I want to start building that? Well, I guess we have nothing else for the VAB to do. Atlas is almost never the correct choice. Like, literally almost never. I mean, Sound and Fury will kill me for saying that, but Atlas is almost never the right choice. Because balloon tanks are stupidly expensive, and you would do better with just 2 stages. You do have less liftoff thrust, but Basically, ton for ton, Atlas was more expensive and less capable than a 2-stage vehicle. But if you took Atlas and made the Sustainer a 2nd-stage engine, then you would have less liftoff thrust and you couldn't push as much tonnage, which means that you get something about as capable as Atlas. It's only if you actually had the equivalent tonnage, then you'd have a much more capable launch vehicle. All right, so yeah, 54 days. That's in 13 days. All right, so we'll just do this contract. And stay in space. All right, we'll have to look at what our life support is. Because if we can manage a day in orbit, we'll get that duration record, and that will give us a nice chunk of change. Also, we want the 200-kilometer altitude record, which I forgot to do last time. Oh yes, and we have to orbit Mars at some point in the next few years. Forgot about that part. This is just 185 by 250. And we have to be there for 9 hours. That's fine. Oh, let me see what TAC claims my life support for this thing is. Robs, that is true. Early on, that matters a lot. Later on, that doesn't matter much. But like, oh, it saves it without the fairing sides. Doesn't matter. All right, it claims that we can last for 2 days. So maybe we'll go for a duration record. I mean, why not, right? We don't have to go polar either. this case. All right. So let's do a day launch. And let's fly the engineer for a day. Yeah, that is very true about PVG. Be awesome. So I actually tried to fake that, but PVG had a cow. And Lamont, you can tell me where I went wrong with this idea. I created incredibly tiny tanks and incredibly tiny engines, like 1 kilonewton thrusters or something, that burned for exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And I put the decouplers for those tanks in the same stage as the decoupler for the boosters. But PVG threw up its hands and said, I don't know what to do with this, and didn't work. As trying to get PVG to understand that's when I want to decouple the booster engines. So the fallback is just fly the pitch program for 2 minutes and 15 seconds. If there's a way to keep flying the pitch program for a set amount of time, then we could still have PVG on Atlas, even though obviously we'd lose a minute. We'd have to carefully calculate the pitch program to be broadly correct until that time. All right, so we want 185 by 250. Orbital inclination. We'll just do a normal orbit. Well, actually, I think Mercury did like 37 degrees. Ah, dang, that does. So even if they're part of a stage that, so consider a stage that has some engines that have burnt out and some engines that haven't. It will just not drop the stage until everybody burns out. All right. So let's do this. Huh, I thought MechJeb only dealt in stages. I didn't realize it dealt in individual part level decouplings. Here we go. About to stage. Looking good. You know what? Why not? Let's get some more records. It's not like we don't have the Delta V for it. Yes, it does have a hat. His little cone-shaped baby Mercury. Oh, that's EVA. That must have been what that beep was. Yeah, so we don't have quite a long enough burn time for what our perigee is. We probably should do like 160. Coming up on insertion. Yeah, could add a coast. The problem is there's no way to... Oh, but the boil-off would save us. The boil-off would save us. Oh, interesting. Our apogee is nowhere near what we requested. Now it is. I wonder why PVG has issues with this launch vehicle. It usually doesn't. It's usually quite good. All right, so now we need to be here for a day. So let's roll such that we have good sun exposure. And okay. And let's spin up so we don't deviate. Because we apparently don't have SAS. All right. Away we go. Look at the big old Earth. And oh, what the heck did we get? We got a lot of contracts completed. First orbital flight, crude speed record, altitude record, speed record, speed record, speed. Oh, that's why. Okay. And another altitude record. And what's our next altitude record? 500. Okay, and we'll hit 500 for sure. Oh, but we need that to be below 300. So let's create that node. And we'll warp there. Okay. D-spin. Okay. Almost there. All right. Now we want to start the scrubber, and let's look at the estimated times from Tackle S. It still claims that we have a day left, so that's good. So let's orient these things so they get some nice solar flux. That's pretty decent. Okay. And spin up a wee little bit. And orbit away. That was the 500 kilometer altitude record. All right. Let's see what else we got. So that's fine. That's fine. Duration record. Time is 22 hours. And we're not going to hit 1,000 kilometers. I mean, we could, but Piano Josh, it's actually relevant because hydrazine increases launch costs. And if it increased the launch cost of the capsule, that would be bad news. And like, yes, it's still higher performance, but it's nice to not have to pay the money. All right. What was that bloop bloop? That's just EVA. Oh, there is a crew report to be gotten. But what? Let's see if we can catch it again. Well, at some point with... Oops. At some point within the day, we'll get back over whatever that was. $12 hours or so from now. I wish it would kill warp when it hits a new thing. Can you set that? Let's see. No. I don't see a way to do it. So what the heck is our mystery biome that we've missed? Let's see what's here, if we can catch it. Yes, Savannah. That's what. That's what we apparently had missed. All right, let's transmit that. All right, let's see if there's anything else. Probably not. All right, we've now stayed up long enough for the contract, but not the record. What is... Oh, somebody's probably pushing things to RC. I forgot to turn the sounds off. Sorry, everybody. Just go ahead and check that the contract indeed feels that we've met our requirements. Yes, all we have to do is return home for that, but we're still shooting for the record. 15, 16, 18, 19. All right. We have now been in space 1 day. And we got the crew duration record of 1 day. And man, our poor astronaut Ernest Banks has spent a very long time in a very tiny can. So let's get him home. And I think we can just perform a retro burn here. And presumably come in over the Indian Ocean. A highly traditional Mercury retroburn. Oh yeah, right click. Yes, I thought I remembered seeing that somewhere. Thank you. All right, when that's 0, that will presumably be about 100. We want it to be there. All right, let's get a sense of where 100 kilometers is. Right there. We want to come in a little bit closer than that. Take a little bit more off the speed. All right. That's Melindy. Okay. That's probably fine. Let's do a little bit more. All right, that's probably good. All right, right click on the thing you say. Didn't seem to do anything. I don't see the settings panel showing up anywhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. For some reason it hadn't toggled right. All right, let's try that. All right, we're there. Hopefully we will re-enter before hitting India. So let's align with SVL minus. Into the atmosphere we go. And jettison. Telemetry analysis. Crew report. All right, and we need to stage one more time to get our RCS engaged. Not that we have much of need of RCS. More science. So much science, even though it's not actually going to give us much science compared to lunar science. Oh, we're quite low latitude. I don't have to worry about India. There goes the service module. And we're out of comms. This is probably going to be a more than 8G reentry. Seven and a half. Oh, huh. Lower G's than last time. Weird. It confuses me. But whatever. Ernest Banks is happily not knocked out. Because that'd be real bad if Ernest Banks were knocked out and we'd have to dump the parachutes. But happily, not a problem. You're a subsonic. Let's toss the thing, arm the chute, and now we just wait for landing. Hey, welcome everybody. And Zarvex Toral, thanks so much. Piano Josh, yeah, you're not wrong. Happily that is configurable. So we probably should configure it. Also, they probably should be medically discharged if they go above 12 Gs or something like that. Because they'll have back pain for a while. Shoots out. Okay. And the main. And down we come. So we basically just did phase 7, except with fewer failures than phase 7. It's a good thing they didn't go beyond a day in Mercury. The thing would have, even a day was pushing it. Like, apparently Al Shepard wanted to do a week. You have to be insane to try to do a week in Mercury. Piano Josh, on the contrary, I left sufficient hooks in that you totally could. Because if you know, you can specify for the part however you want. So basically, the thing that applies the G-force is a method that can be overridden by any mod. So you just override that method and use data. Basically, you make a module that sits on the part, overrides that method, has the data of whether their eyeballs in or out or sideways, and then applies the stuff based on that. There you go. Yeah, I left a lot of void delegates around for that kind of overriding. 2,000 feet. Actually, sorry. Now we're at 2,000 feet, give or take. $1,000 feet. 500 feet. In we come. Sploosh. Oh, that's a sickening level of twitch, but at least we've landed. All right. On that happy occasion, I should probably head off. So let's see what our haul is. No science from that as expected. Some money for recovered parts and Ernest Banks advances. And got not a lot of advance in retirement. That's a shame. We got next to no science, but we did get a bundle of cash from the records and the contract. So, thank you everybody for watching. Sorry to call it quits right after being hosted, but gotta go. And catch you soon. Bye-bye.